Hello AWS users, welcome to our AWS tutorial series, and in today's video I'll be diving into the IAM or Identity and Access Management to explore the creation of groups and users. Understanding IAM is crucial for securing your AWS resources and managing users' access efficiently. So, before we get started, let's quick recap on what IAM groups and users are in AWS. Actually, IAM enables you to manage access to AWS services and resources securely. Groups allow you to organize users and apply permission to multiple users at once. And actual users represent the individuals or applications or services that interact with your AWS resources. And also, from the AWS root account, we also can define roles, but we are not covering this in this video. We are only focusing on users and user groups. Okay, so let's suppose in your company you have 2 employees. One of them is called Bob, and the other one is called Jack. Jack needs access to AC2 resource and S3 resource, which are resources inside AWS web services. And Bob only needs access to AC2 and also Lambda. And here we have 2 different profiles of users. One is Bob and the other one is Jack, because Jack is actually a sysadmin in the company and Bob is a engineer. So we are going to create 2 groups of users, and we are also creating our users for Bob and Jack. So let's first create our groups. So here inside AWS console, we are going to search for IAM. You can also go here and search for the IAM from this lateral menu. And here we are going to click on user groups, create a group, and let's give it a name. In this case, I will create first the sysadmin group. Here we could already say the users that are in this group and add them in this search, but we don't have any users created yet, so let's keep this. And here we are going to search for AC2 full access, as we have here AC2, and also S3. Full access as well. and let's create our group. So you have the sysadmin group, and here you already know now that it has access to these two resources. And now let's create the engineer group. We don't have any users, so let's keep this and search for the EC2 again and Lambda. At this time, Lambda full access. Now let's hit create group. It's loading the permissions, and boom, there we have it. So we can click here, view groups. Let's try to refresh it. Okay. So there we go. Now let's create our users and attribute them to user groups. So now we know that the engineer group has access to EC2 and S and Lambda actually. So let's create Bob and Jack. So let me delete this. And now we know that Bob is a sysadmin. And Jack is a engineer. So let's jump to users, create user, and here we type Bob with all the letters in lowercase. We check the provide users access to AWS management console. We choose I want to create an IAM user. For this demo, I will use a custom password. And here, let's check this box. So the users must create a new password at the next sign in, so they can change the default password you are setting to them. In here, we are going to choose the user group. So I could check both, so the user that I'm creating would have both profiles of access, but I'm choosing only the sysadmin. So we can hit create user, and there we go. So let's test our user now. I will open a private window. It says the account ID already, and I can input my username and the password. There we go, we changed the password. So let's try now. To use, for example, I know that Bob only has access to AC2 and in S3. So let's suppose Bob wants to access Lambda resources, and there you go. It says that the user doesn't have the permission to perform any action in this resource. But if we go to EC2, for example, we see that everything is all right, and we can create instances and so on and so forth. So okay, so Bob is working fine. Now let's create a Jax user. We go to users again. You can hit create user, give it his name, provide user access to AWS Management Console. I want to create a IAM user, again a custom password, then we paste it here. And now let's just leave this unchecked and see if it is going to ask to change the password. It's not supposed to do that, so I will choose the engineer group. So we hit create user, and there we go. And again, let me open a private window. Say check. Password, and there we go. We are in. So this time let's try to access Lambda resources. You'll see that you won't show that red message, and we can create a function. But if we go to S3, which is the resource that we don't have access, one of the resources that we don't have access, and we try to create a bucket, you wouldn't be okay. That shouldn't be allowed, but let me review our user groups. So the engineer group, permissions, Lambda, EC2. Yeah, so shouldn't have access to S3. Maybe S3 it's already default for any user. So let's try something else. Maybe database resources, RDS. Doesn't say anything. Let's try to create it. So there we go. It doesn't have access to RDS. But actually this is very interesting. So let's test. Lano, which is my name. So bam, there you go. So to create the bucket, we need access to the S3 resource, which we don't have. Okay, the only thing I found strange is that it doesn't say anything in the screen before we try to create, but anyways, it's working. So there we go. Now we have our user groups and our users, and you can change them whenever you want. For example, if you want Bob to also have access as a engineer, you can add a user group, and there you go. Now Bob would have access to AC2 and also Lambda and S3 resources. So that will do for today's video. Thank you for watching, and give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this, and see you next time.